Good afternoon, everyone. Feel free to continue to, you don't think it's on? It's on. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am thrilled to be here today as the president of AAUW, the American Association of University Women. On behalf of our chapter and the Middle Tennessee Fund for Women and Girls, our dedicated charitable arm, raising funds for scholarships for women and girls in Middle Tennessee, I extend a warm and enthusiastic welcome to each and every one of you to our EqualiTEA event today. Today, as we come together, we're not just here for tea. We're here to recognize a significant occasion, Equal Pay Day. This day serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing struggle for pay equity and gender equality in the workplace. EqualiTEA, with its theme, embraces the very essence of our mission, a steadfast commitment to fairness and social justice, particularly within the realm of employment. Take a moment to admire the thoughtful decorations adorning our tables, the scales of justice nestled within the teapots. They stand as a powerful symbol of our ongoing fight for equality, serving as a reminder that our work isn't complete until every woman receives fair compensation for her labor and every girl has equal opportunities to succeed. Before we move forward with today's program, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to President Bethany Rye of the Middle Tennessee Funds for Women and Girls, and our exceptional EqualiTEA committee. This event would not be possible without their unwavering dedication and hard work. If you guys will please join me in giving them a round of applause. And Bethany and members of the planning committee, can you please stand up? Let us use this EqualiTEA event as a catalyst for change, a call to action to continue striving for a future where all individuals, regardless of gender, are treated with dignity and respect. Thank you all for joining us today, and let's enjoy the tea, conversations, and the company. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Bethany Rye, and I currently serve as the president of the Middle Tennessee Fund for Women and Girls. We are thrilled to have you all here with us this evening. I want to begin by recognizing some of our honored guests, such as former Tempest Award recipient and sponsor of tonight's tea, Dr. Phyllis Washington. I would also like to recognize members of the Butler family, for whom one of AAUW's scholarships is also named. So welcome, Butler family. Also, I want to recognize Dr. Chandra Story, last year's AAUW nominated Athena Award winner. And MTSU's provost, Dr. Mark Burns, is here with us tonight. Thank you for your support, Dr. Burns. Finally, how many of you have an awesome mother-in-law? My mother-in-law is so awesome that she is spending her birthday to be here with us this evening, so thank you for being here. Okay, next I want to thank our event sponsors in attendance. The EqualiTEA would not be possible without the generous support of our event sponsors. Their support of the event allows other donations made tonight to go directly to fund AAUW scholarships. Sponsors, when I call your name, please stand and remain standing until all are recognized. Audience, please hold your applause until all sponsors have been named and are standing. Pinnacle Financial Partners, Nichelle and John Bylinski, Dr. Phyllis Washington, John and Leanne Carmack, Valencia Phillips, Realtor, and Wilson Bank and Trust. Thank you all so much. everyone in attendance can contribute to our mission today. The check-in table, you all saw when you came in, will be open for donations after the event. Also, attendees may make donations during the event at their tables, either by check or QR code. Checks may be made out to Middle Tennessee Fund for Women and Girls. There is one envelope per table for all checks and donation cards. And just a reminder, if you're using the QR code or making a digital donation with the Square account, we do still need you to fill out the donation card just so we can document and have record of your donation and we can thank you appropriately. We have some wonderful table captain volunteers who will be taking those envelopes up for us at the conclusion of the evening. All right, so the reason you're all here, our keynote speaker for this evening, we are thrilled to welcome Dr. Amy Aldridge Sanford. Amy moved to MTSU to Middle Tennessee in early 2022 to serve as the Vice Provost for Academic Programs. She also has an appointment as a Professor of Communication, a discipline that she has loved since her first speech contest at the age of 14. Today, Amy is a sought-out scholar in the areas of curriculum development, leadership, gender, and activism. Her book, From Thought to Action, Developing a Social Justice Orientation, is in its second edition, is utilized in classrooms and book clubs throughout the world. Her second book, an edited collection, tentatively titled Reconciliation, the Final Step in Achieving Nonviolent Social Change, is expected next year. A TEDx speaker and curator, Amy is frequently asked to present at national conferences and to university audiences and local community groups. Amy is past president of the Central States Communication Association. She was awarded Communication University Educator of the Year in both Texas and Oklahoma, and Outstanding Administrator from the National States Advisory Council of the National Communication Association. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Amy Aldridge Sanford.
My sincerest appreciation to AEW for the invitation and to all of you for your presence at this scholarship fundraiser. This moment is full circle for me because 25 years ago, I was an AEW scholarship recipient in Oklahoma. As the first in my family to earn a bachelor's degree, I felt very fortunate to work on what I thought would be my only master's degree, my only graduate degree. That AEW scholarship came with a free year-long membership. In time, that membership proved to be even more valuable than the funding. The women of that branch were college graduates in the 1950s and 60s, a time when women just weren't taken very seriously on college campuses. These women were determined to break that cycle. They poured into me, and I began to see myself the way that they saw me. And 2 years later, I would move from Oklahoma for the first time and go on to get a second master's degree and then a PhD from the University of Iowa. They do more than play basketball there. Good women's basketball there. While in graduate school, I was challenged to think deeply about injustice, societal harms, and access for all. I learned that problems are fixed first by understanding the history and then by looking at systemic solutions to those problems. And that's what I want to challenge you to do as we talk about women and work and the historically underpaid. How did we get in a predicament in the United States in 2024 where women average only 82 cents on the man's dollar? You may know that we commemorated Equal Pay Day on March 12th of this year because that's how much longer women have to work into 2024 to make what men made in 2023. I'm going to start the timeline of how we got here in the 1940s, but I want to make it clear that 1 in 4 women, mostly immigrants and the descendants of the formerly enslaved, were working before that. They simply had no choice. By the early 1940s, As a result of men going to war, the number of women in the workplace actually rose to 1 in 3. These women, who were mostly white and middle class, likely never dreamed of working outside the home. And just a few years later, at the conclusion of World War II, these same women, often referred to as Rosie the Riveters, were given their pink slips, thanked for their service, and given instructions about how important and patriotic it was for them to return home and be good wives and mothers. As you can imagine, many of them resented that expectation. They had grown accustomed to having their own incomes and independence. In time, and this is something we do not talk about a lot, but in time, the abuse of alcohol and prescription drugs skyrocketed with this group of women. In 1963, Betty Friedan, who was a journalist, authored The Feminine Mystique, a best-selling book that would start the women's liberation movement and get people talking about women's representation in the workplace and the home. In the next 2 decades, related legislation, including the Equal Pay Act and Title IX, were passed in quick succession. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC, was established, and the Equal Rights Amendment was hotly contested, as it had been since 1923, as it still is today, and still hasn't been passed. At the end of the 20th century, in the 80s and 90s, a time I remember very fondly, movies like Mr. Mom, Baby Boom, and 9 to 5 were made about women in corporate America. We also saw strong women on television every week. My favorites were Murphy Brown and Julia Sugarbaker. Looking back, I can see how these screen depictions were women just struggling to figure out their places and voices in the modern workplace. And to be honest, if you pay close attention to those screen depictions, you know the men were just trying to figure it out as well. While things have gotten better in the 2000s, women who entered the workplace in the 80s and 90s have a hard time catching up financially in what is now the second half of their careers. The good news is that young women entering today's workforce are averaging 92 cents on the man's dollar. The gap is closing, thanks to lots of work of people before us. The gap is closing, especially for Asian and white women. It's closing dramatically, but the salaries of older generations are lowering the average. According to the most recent AEW national report, women who retire today have only 70 cents on the man's retirement dollar, and that's very troubling. Let me give you a recent and geographically close example of how that can happen. In 1998, Lily Ledbetter had worked for Goodyear in Alabama for 20 years and was 1 year from retirement. How many of you have heard of Lily Ledbetter? A lot of people have heard of her, and if you haven't, you'll know why people have in a second. Tucked in her employment mailbox, she found a handwritten, anonymous note that had the salaries of 3 of her male coworkers, who, like her, were all supervisors. She was very disappointed to learn that she made 40% less than any of them. Ms. Ledbetter filed an EEOC complaint and won the initial court case. It went to the Supreme Court, and she lost because of the 180-day rule, which stated that she must file a complaint within 180 days of the pay difference occurring. But she didn't know about the difference for 20 years because the company actively discouraged employees from talking about their salaries. The 180-day rule was fixed in 2009 when President Obama signed the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. It was his first act as the president. But it wasn't retroactive for Ms. Ledbetter. She received no back pay and no punitive damages, and today, at 85 years old, she lives on a small retirement check and struggles financially and often turns down speaking engagements because of the up-cost expense of taking speaking engagements. So now that I've shared now that we have an historical understanding, Let's think about what can be done systemically to get us to a place where we no longer need to commemorate Equal Pay Day. We can still meet and have tea, right? We can celebrate, but we no longer have to commemorate. Because of limited time, I'm going to offer just 3 suggestions, but this is a room full of smart people, so I hope you've come up with some ideas of your own and how you can affect change within your spheres of influence. So number 1 on my list, we need more women in higher paid positions with the credentials, experiences, and networks to do so. So remember those Oklahoma AEW women I told you about and how valuable that membership to the organization was? So the scholarship chair, Dr. Janet Barr, was an associate vice president who oversaw curriculum at my undergraduate alma mater, Northeastern State University. When I left Iowa, I returned to NSU for my first faculty job, and before I was even tenured, Dr. Barr reduced my teaching load so that I could be in her office a couple of days a week to shadow her and prepare curriculum reports for the state. It's the exact job I've done for the past 8 years, first in Texas as an associate provost, and now here working for the man as the vice provost. She gave me a boost at a very young age that will definitely affect my retirement income, right? And Dr. Barr, who is now retired herself and happily traveling the globe, still checks on me regularly, and I see her every time I go home. For the women in the room, surround yourself with multi-generational, high-achieving women whom you respect. Lift each other up, speak about each other positively, and provide professional opportunities whenever possible. Oh, I got some amens on that. I like that. For the men in the room, your presence is meaningful. It tells us that you recognize that women are historically underpaid and that you desire to be a part of the solution. You can walk out now if you don't believe that. No. If you dare. You can also encourage women to move into higher positions by verbalizing talent when you see it, providing opportunities within your influence, and calling out any negative talk about ambitious women within your circles. Number 2, we need to analyze salaries for women in the second halves of their careers and compare the data to men in similar roles within the organization. My guess is that there is some unaddressed salary compression in most of our work environments. Admittedly, this compression happens for a lot of reasons. Poor starting salaries, lack of negotiation during promotions, off-ramping to take care of children or aging relatives, not seeing women as primary breadwinners for their families. The list goes on. The reasons just don't matter. It should be about equal pay for equal work today. Number 3, talk about how much money you make with people who do similar work or want to do similar work. There are lawmakers across this country who are trying to legislate away your right to have those transparent conversations. Some of it is backlash to the Ledbetter legislation. It will only hurt the most marginalized amongst us if that is allowed, if men and women are not talking about their salaries. Now, as a state employee, you can go look mine up. You feel free. Look everybody's up. And believe me, I take advantage of that when I go and look for jobs, right? I look at that. To end today, I again want to say how grateful I am to the women of AUW in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. If those women to whom I dedicate this keynote had not come into my life 25 years ago and offered me that check and their wisdom, I don't even remember how much the check was, but I remember all that wisdom, right? I'm not sure I'd have the credentials or confidence to apply to work as a vice provost at a rock star university like MTSU. And undoubtedly, your generosity will make a similar impact for women like our scholarship recipients tonight.
a wonderful reminder of why we're here. Thank you again so much, Amy. Okay, so the next thing we're here to do is introduce the Tempest Award.
She is parking her car. And Matt is with her.
Matt is with her, so could we do the scholarship now and flip it? Wonderful, let's do that. Okay. So Kathleen, will you come discuss our scholarships for us, please? Awesome. We're rolling with it. We're rolling with it.
Good evening, AAUW friends. My name is Kathleen Schmand, and I am the Dean of the James E. Walker Library here at MTSU, and I am the current Middle Tennessee Fund for Women and Girls Vice President for Scholarships. I think that's the longest title I've ever had. I'm pleased to share with you information about our 2 scholarships that we hope you will support as this event supports. First, we have the Ruth Houston Undergraduate Scholarship. This is a $1,200 scholarship offered during the fall and spring semesters to a non-traditional female undergraduate student aged 24 or older who best demonstrates academic promise and financial need. While the scholarship has been given since 1965, it was named in honor of Ruth McNabb Houston in 1983. She was the AAUW Murfreesboro president from 1951 to 1953. Second, we have the Butler Fouts Graduate Scholarship. This is a $1,200 scholarship offered for the fall and spring semesters to a female graduate student belonging to an underrepresented ethnic or racial group and who best demonstrates academic promise and financial need. The scholarship, established in 2017, is named for past AAUW Murfreesboro President Leola Fouts and Maddie Butler, 2 longtime members of the Murfreesboro AAUW. And thank you to the family of Maddie for being here tonight. I had to practice this name a whole lot, so I'm gonna make sure that I don't mess it up. Bemisola Kinteye, I got it wrong, was our most recent Butler Fouts Scholarship recipient. She graduated in December, is on her way to a brighter future in New York City as we speak. Because she was not able to join us, I would like to share a few words she sent. I am eternally grateful for being a member of the American Association of University Women and for the rare privilege of being a beneficiary of the Butler Fouts Graduate Scholarship in the past year. In December 2023, I completed my master's degree in healthcare informatics from MTSU and embarked on an exciting journey, launching my career as a quality analyst at Regeneron Pharmaceuticals in Albany, New York. Joining Regeneron has been a dream come true, allowing me to merge my passion for healthcare with my expertise in informatics. At Regeneron, I have the opportunity to contribute to the critical work of ensuring the quality and safety of pharmaceutical products while making a tangible impact on patient care. And I'm most grateful to the AAUW Murfreesboro chapter for their support throughout my academic journey. I'm thrilled to celebrate alongside fellow scholars at this EqualiTEA event as we mark the culmination of our achievements and new beginnings in our professional endeavors. As always, I intend to remain relevant in my chosen field and to continue to uphold the values of AAUW. So congratulations to Bemisola. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our current Ruth Houston Scholarship recipient, Priscilla Hammermeister. She is currently working on her Bachelor of Business Administration in Supply Chain Management degree and will be graduating in May 2024.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to try to not yell because I already speak pretty loudly anyway. So as you just heard, my name is Priscilla Hammermeister, and I would like to start off by saying thank you to everyone who has been part of planning and executing this event. What you do matters. I've been blessed enough to have received the Ruth Houston Scholarship since fall of 2022. I'm currently in my last semester of pursuing a bachelor's degree in supply chain management with less than 3 weeks until graduation. I'm a first-generation student who moved to the United States in December of 2018. I then started my associate's degree in 2019 and finished it in 2020. Upon graduation, I started working for a year full-time before I considered going back to school to finish my bachelor's degree. But at that point, I was not quite sure about some legalities around it, including the finances. As I'm approaching the final 2 weeks of my undergraduate degree, I would like to use this opportunity to share how much of a blessing the scholarship has been. I would also like to share how amazing it is that international students like me are eligible to apply for the scholarship. Please know how helpful the scholarship fund through AAUW truly is. It can be challenging to find scholarships through outside organizations that international students can apply for. The scholarships offered by AAUW are a fantastic representation of what being inclusive looks like. Leveling the playfield does not mean putting someone in a box because of their upbringing or history. It means investing in a student's future regardless of what the past or someone's upbringing might have looked like. It means supporting the student in pursuing their degree to better themselves. The reality is that not everyone has parents who can fully pay for their children's education, which is where organizations like AAUW step in to fill the gap. I'm grateful for that. To be completely candid, I'm not confident that I would have gotten a higher education degree in Germany, so this is a very special accomplishment to me. Please know that you have contributed to the fact that I will graduate with absolutely no debt this May. I recognize that this is not everyone's story. Thank you. I recognize that this is not everyone's story, so I do not want to take that for granted. I'm so grateful that God has given me favor with people. I'm grateful that individuals like you see value in investing in students like me. This matters to me, and I can promise you that it matters to other students too. Thank you so very much to everyone who has invested their time and finances in making these scholarships possible. I think that everyone knows how easy it is to have a great idea and get started on a project, but how much effort and intentionality it takes to see it through and be consistent in the efforts. In other words, thank you to everyone who has invested in us students to any capacity. Thank you for continuously sowing into supporting students. I would also like to acknowledge Dr. Hofschwelli and Dr. Schmand for your work. I can honestly say that I have enjoyed every single interaction and wisdom that you have to offer. I will finish off by sharing one of my favorite quotes: "Where there is a will, there is a way." Thank you.
So thank you for your continued support of these two scholarships. Since 1965, Murfreesboro AAUW has been actively engaged in supporting women pursuing higher education through these scholarships. Over the years, members of Murfreesboro AAUW have been creative in securing funding to grow the scholarships, including this event. I invite you to be a part of giving back to this wonderful experience and representative of two phenomenal women scholarship recipients. So thank you for your support.
All right. So AAUW's Murfreesboro's Tempest Award is an annual award that honors an individual in Middle Tennessee who has acted to address the systemic barriers, as Amy was speaking about, to equity for women and girls, and thereby contributes to the mission of AAUW. The branch has been giving this award since 2017. To introduce this year's Tempest Award winner, it is my pleasure to welcome longtime friend of AAUW and skilled photographer, as he has his camera pointed at me, Matt Ferry, to the stage.
Thank you, everyone. Obviously, I am not a member of AAUW. I'm a friend of AAUW, and I appreciate the friendship. I think I've been to every single EqualiTEA that the local chapter has put on, and it's a great time to get together with fabulous people and talk about things that are important, like Equal Pay Day. And our guest today, our special guest speaker, is a wonderful friend of mine. I've known her for years. And I can't quite tell you where exactly we met or how exactly we met, but I worked with her on many lobbying days. She used to be the head of the American Muslim Advisory Council, and every year we did, and we still do, Muslim Day on the Hill. And she was the head of, and I forgot the exact name of this group, it's the Women Business Collaborative Group that would do Women's Day on the Hill. And of course, you know, they would advocate for lots of things, but including equal pay for equal work, which obviously, you know, we're here in the middle of April, and this is just one of the days, because I know that it's different for Black women, and it's different for brown women and Asian women, and that's got to change. So luckily, I think we're moving in the right direction when people like Zulfat can get elected in the city of Nashville. As you know, Nashville is very, very diverse nowadays, and representation has been lacking. And Zulfat checks so many different boxes of people who need representation in Nashville. So we're very fortunate to have her in that position and advocating for policies. You know, one thing that I learned from Zulfat is that the budget is a moral document. It shows you where your values really are. You know, you can talk a good game about things that you want to see, but on paper, where are you really putting the money in? And I'm really excited for the new bunch of council people they have now. They have more women. They have more Black and brown women. It's a lot more diverse council than ever before. And I think that is much needed in Nashville, and it's much needed in Murfreesboro and across the state of Tennessee. So Zulfat is a step in the right direction, not just for Nashville, but for the rest of Tennessee. I can't say enough about her, but I will stop. But I really appreciate you coming here tonight. Please give a hand for Councilwoman Zulfat Swara.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late, but I just found out something that if I ever need a surrogate, people always say, you know, you need to clone yourself. You're in so many different places. Actually, I don't need to clone myself. I just need a mat. Because he can tell you the last thing that I said. You know, quote me perfectly. Matt and I go way back on our days with Women's Day on the Hill. I was the chair of the Tennessee Women's Day on the Hill, and we had about 25 organizations, including the AAUW, that lobbied for several years on issues affecting women. And when I was looking at what the Tempest Award is for, what this equality is about, and it talks about equal pay day, I was like, oh, I don't need to prepare. Actually, I got my start in advocacy because of equal pay. I was living in Bolivar, Tennessee. I don't know who it was, why it was, but somebody was in my office, had my own CPA firm, and was talking about women not making the same as men. And I was like, what? You're kidding me. In America? Like that just doesn't make any sense. And that's what it took. And so I joined the Business and Professional Women of Tennessee. I remember my first year as the state president, I did a campaign around the state, just talking to different organizations about making sure that we pay women what is right. You know, when we talk about equal pay for women, it's not just about the women. It's about the children. It's about the family. It's about everybody. And I always remind everyone that while we have we have men that are single-parent homes, majority of our single-parent homes are women. And so when somebody comes into my office and complaining about who's taking care of the children, you know, mothers don't care for their children anymore, I'm like, because we as a society are adding to that. Because women has to go do two or three jobs to be able to put food on the table. So we don't have the right to complain that they're doing all that they can because we're not paying them the right thing, and then we have the right to not complain that they're not home. We cannot have it both ways. I was also very proud that one of the campaigns that I did earlier on was with Miss Lily Ledbetter. You know, when she fought Good Tire for not paying her right. And when President Obama was elected, I was proud to say that the first bill that he signed was the Lily Ledbetter Equal Pay Art. Because when you think about it, I mean, to be involved in something like that, it fills your heart. And that's why my advocacy started. That's why I joined. That's why I continue to do it. It's a shame that we're still here. It's a shame that we're still not there yet. It's a shame that we're still talking about FOST and 75 cents. I think it was when I joined, it was like 75 cents. I think it's got like 80-something cents now. Come on now. That was like 20-something years ago. It doesn't make any sense. I'm from Africa, yo. And as somebody from Africa, maybe we have we have pay inequity in Africa, I don't know. But I can understand if everywhere has it. But this is the United States of America. We are the leader. We show the example. We tell everybody else what to do. And I don't know why that has just been... Don't we? That's what we do. That's exactly what we do. We tell everybody else what to do. And the one thing that we cannot get right, this is one of the things, and we need to. So I'm very grateful to AUW. I'm grateful to all of you that are here celebrating, helping women. It means so much, you know, and there's so many things that we had to do. This Saturday in Nashville, I have the honor to chair the Diane Nash Committee, where we will be honoring Hetre Blazer, a woman that paved way for the women. And so what we're doing here today, and I listen to our scholarship winner, is that we're paving the way, we're making things better. I'm going to end with this quote, one of the ones that I love as a member of BPW. It's by one of our presidents. She was the president of the Nashville BPW, and she was a suffragist, Sue Shelton White. Sue said, and I always use this quote because it motivates me a lot, and I'm going to paraphrase. Sue says, "We are standing in our place today because somebody sacrificed yesterday. And that it is our responsibility, make it a moral obligation, that we make a better place for those that are coming after us. It's a duty that we hold to the generation after us. There's no back of the bus. There's no civil rights fights. There's so many things that, you know, sittings that Diane Nash did. I don't have to do that. But there is equal pay. There's pay inequity. There's a serious wage gap. We have a lot of civil and human rights violation. We don't even have control over our body. I'm not going to talk about the state. This is a happy occasion. So we're not going to talk about all the stuff that's going on there. But there's so much for us to do. And if we're sitting here today, people like Diane Nash, people like Sue fought so we can. And I charge all of us in here to make sure that we're doing the same thing so that the generation after us will not be saying the same thing again. Thank you so much.
I have a gift that I would like to present to you on behalf of AAUW.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful. And you know you can never find anything with Z, right? I was like, what were my parents thinking? You know, if it's a guy, yeah, Zach. And Zolfat?
Well, we got you covered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, we have been tasked with wrapping up this evening with a final request for donations. But I prefer to think of that as an investment, as Priscilla so eloquently put it. My sweet mama is from a tiny little town in West Tennessee. She lost her father at a very young age, and my grandmother went to work at a factory to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. When my mama was 18, a group of women who valued education and believed in her decided that she was worth an investment. And so they gave her a scholarship. And between that and every spare cent my grandmother could scrape together, she was able to go to college. And that seemingly small investment from a group of women who cared completely changed the trajectory of my family's life. So I stand before you tonight because my very existence bears witness to the power of education. I stand before you as a living testament to the strength of women working together to build each other up. We are all in this room because we want better for our daughters and for the women that will come after us. I believe in Priscilla, and I believe in Gimisola, and I believe in former scholarship recipients like Aubrey and Chanel, who have gone on to do wonderful things. And so I ask you to join us tonight in believing in them and that they and all the women who will come after them are worthy of our investment.
All right, before we conclude, I want to express my gratitude to everyone who has already contributed to our cause. Your generosity is truly appreciated and will have a profound impact on the lives of the women that we support. To those of you who are planning to give today, I extend a heartfelt thank you in advance. Your support means the world to us. As we wrap up our tea party, I want to remind you of the convenient ways that you can give today. You can donate right at your table by completing the donation card, and make sure that you put your name and your address on this card and leave it for us so that we can send you your tax exemption. In addition to the donation card, you can scan the QR code on your table to make an electronic donation. Alternatively, you can donate at the check-in table as you leave the event today. Finally, a friendly reminder to all, don't forget to grab your lovely swag bags on your way out. These are courtesy of Central Christian Church, the Open Door Christian Church, Buff City Soaps, and Miss Hubbard, representing Mary Kay. They're filled with goodies to keep the memories of today alive. Thank you once again for your kindness and support. Your contributions will make a significant difference in the lives of women in Middle Tennessee.
Thank you.